is Chris, and welcome to the Pontiac Excitement 400 here today at the Richmond International Raceway. This is the 11th race of the season, and third short track race of the season as well, so this one should be pretty interesting to see how it all kind of goes for the drivers. And today, we're going to see if the points are going to shake up a lot, because coming into today, a rookie in Zachary Smithley leads the Winston Cup Series Championship, but by only 45 ahead of Ryan Newman. Still very early on in the season, so a lot could change. Then Rudd in third, Gordon in fourth, Johnson fifth, Bill Elliott in sixth, Michael Waltrip seventh, Kurt Busch eighth, Matt Kenseth in ninth, and Jeff Burton in 10th. Jeff Burton won last time out in California, making himself the not second, but the third repeat winner of the 2003 season. So here today, we're going to see if we're going to have a new winner or another repeat winner. But the only way to find out is to go to the starting lineup for the start of today's race. So here we are on the starting grid, and in row number one, we will find Bobby Labonte, who wins his first pole of the season with Jeff Gordon to his outside. Then row number two, it is Jeff Green with his best qualifying performance so far, and Bill Elliott to his outside. Row three is, oddly enough, Robbie Gordon and Steve Park, and we're going to be watching out on the looking out for both of those drivers today. Row four, it is rookie Greg Biffle and the veteran Sterling Marlin. Row five, you will find the Roush Racing teammates of Kurt Busch and Matt Kenseth. Row 6 today will be Johnny Benson and Ken Schrader. Row 7 will be Ricky Rudd and Kevin Harvick. Row 8 is Mike Skinner and Tony Raines. Row 9 is Jeremy Mayfield and Jimmy Johnson. Row 10 is Terry Labonte and Dale Jarrett. Row 11 today will be John Andretti and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Row 12 is Jerry Nadeau and Rusty Wallace. Then row 13 it is Joe Nemechek and Elliott Sadler. Row 14 is Warburton and Kyle Petty. Row 15 is Tony Stewart and Jamie McMurray. Row 16, you'll find Kenny Wallace and Jason Keller, who is subbing in for Jack Sprague, who had a pretty terrifying practice crash. We'll get further updates on him in the coming days to see if his condition has worsened or gotten better. Then row 17 is Todd Bodine and last race winner Jeff Burton. Row 18 is Michael Waltrip and Casey Mears. Row 19 is Larry Foyt and current point leader Zachary Smithley. Row 20 is Ryan Newman and Mark Martin. Row 21 is Jimmy Spencer and Dave Blaney. And then right on the field in row 22, it is Ricky Craven. Then we have the DNQs for today, which is Buckshot Jones, Brett Bodine, Derek Cope, Kevin LePage, Kirk Shelmerdine, and Casey Atwood. Casey Atwood did actually qualify for today's race. However, he failed post-qualifying inspection. So unfortunately, he's not going to be able to compete for today. And then we have a little bit of a race summary for today. So 125 laps. The pit window will be around lap 65 to 82. Tires are going to be the main thing, which around lap 65 to 77 is when drivers will pit for tires. But fuel, though, you can stretch the fuel a lot longer. So either lap 70 to 82, around there you can stretch the fuel out to. But it also depends on how well you manage your tires. And if you can maybe stretch it far enough to where you'll hit the max amount of laps on your fuel. And since we're here at Richmond, will tempers flare today? And if not, maybe we'll have a calm Richmond race, which is not really heard of as of late. And then another couple things to point out. Will we have a brand new winner? So far, we have had 7 different winners, or 8 different winners, with 3 repeat winners in Zachary Smithley, Ryan Newman, and now Jeff Burton. So maybe today we'll have another repeat winner, or we'll have a new winner, as every single driver besides Greg Biffle starting us at the top 10 have not won a race so far this season. So we're going to see if we're going to have a new winner today. But let's go on ahead and set it up to Mike Joy, Larry Mack, and DW to lead us to green.
All right, DW, short track race. Let's go. Reach up there and pull those belts tight. One more time, buddy.
It's Saturday night, folks. Under the lights. It don't get much better than this.
Turn 4 and onto the front straightaway. Bobby Labonte with an amazing advantage off the jump, or off the start rather, got an amazing jump, and he'll lead lap number 1. And so far right now, the Jeffs of Jeff Green and Jeff Gordon, are fighting it out for second behind Bryce Labonte. As you see Gordon going a little bit to the outside, maybe going to try to pass Green. It looks like he will. So now Jeff Gordon can actually set out after Bobby Labonte. And Gordon's going to go right to the outside of the Joe Gibbs Chevy of Labonte. Labonte got a better run out of turn 2, so he'll manage to keep the lead, especially going down here into 3. Gordon will have to size him back up and try again later. As you see a little bit further in the back, you see Robbie Gordon and Steve Park. Those two drivers are going to be focusing on later today. Or as the night continues on, as we see up ahead, Gordon has actually closed the gap on Labonte. Gordon has actually been able to roll the corners a lot more better. So he's going to go right to the inside of Labonte. He's going to challenge him for the lead early on. And Labonte goes all the way up the track, but Gordon takes advantage, and out of 4, he takes it. So Jeff Gordon is out front at Richmond, but Labonte's not going to give it up as he's going to fight back on the outside. See Labonte up the track a little bit higher than probably should be. But Gordon's able to wrap the bottom, but Labonte is able to get good runs off the outside. Got a little sponsor advertisement from Cookout up there. Continues to lead ahead of Labonte. Labonte is just etching ever so slightly to maybe get around Gordon, but Gordon's able to get more forward momentum on the bottom, but Labonte is managing that outside. As it continues into 3, Gordon managing to keep it, and he's actually going to be a full car length ahead, and he's going to clear Labonte for the lead. As behind them, Jeff Green and Bill Elliott were going at it for 3rd. Looks like that's materialized, but Gordon is now fully out front here at Richmond. Jeff Gordon looking for a win so far this season. Has not won so far this season. His teammate Jimmy Johnson back at Bristol did, and his driver Zachary Smithley has won twice this season. Once at he won Rockingham earlier in the year, and he won back at Martinsville a couple races ago. Labonte still looking for that first win, but he's also looking for some good finishes. He hasn't quite had it. Here comes Jeff Green in the AOL Chevy, who has been a strong standout for RCR, and he's able to get around the bottom of Bobby Labonte, grab the position, close the gap on Gordon. He's going to go right to the outside. Can he do what Labonte couldn't do and maybe pass Gordon on the outside as they head into 1? Gordon just nice and easy into the corner, and because of that, he's actually going to keep the lead off of turn 2. So Gordon so far looks to be the guy to pass and the guy to beat, even though we're only 9 laps into the race, but a lot can change. So we have further back, you see Biffle running the top 5, and then there's the 2 drivers in question for their future here in the Winston Cup Series. Robbie Gordon of the 31, Steve Park in the 1. They run 6th and 7th right now. They locked out row 3. The main question going into today's race was, will either of them be able to keep their seats, as it hasn't been really great for Robbie Gordon or Steve Park. As Steve Park entering this race, he was only just barely ahead or above the top 30 in points, and Robbie Gordon is actually outside the top 35. So both drivers looking for a good result, because maybe they can keep their rights for another week, especially going into Charlotte. You see Ricky Rudd in the 21. He is the only one in the top 3 championship right now that could actually take the point lead away from Zachary Smithley as we head further back to find him. But first, we'll go to Jason Keller in the 0. Jason Keller, obviously, at the top of the show. We mentioned how he was substituting for Jack Sprague, who was injured in a pretty nasty practice crash. We have no idea what his current state is. We just know he was taken to the hospital. He is communicating. He is alive and well. But his future for this season is definitely in doubt. And Jason Keller, the Busch Series star, able to step up and take his spot. So, speedy recovery for Jack Sprague. And hopefully Jason Keller has a good day today. But right now, he's got Ryan Newman in the 12 car, who did not qualify that well, going after Jason Keller. And there's the point leader, the current point leader, Zachary Smithley, who also didn't qualify well. He's mired back in traffic. He is slowly picking his way through the field, though. You see back there, you see Michael Waltrip in the 15. He's top 10 of the championship right now, or the point standings, and he's 41st. Not too good for Mikey in the 15, but Zachary in the 80, his main goal for today is to keep an eye on Ryan Newman in the 12 and make sure that he doesn't leave his sight which as of right now, Newman technically has, because there are 4 cars, almost 5 with Todd Bodine, but he is to the inside of Todd Bodine. There are 4 cars separating him and Todd, or him and Newman, excuse me. And you see Newman, he's trying to go after Jason Keller in the 0. That's the other thing about Jason Keller. He had no practice. He only had qualifying, and that was it. He only had 2 laps to learn what to do around here, and so far he's doing good. He is fighting Newman. So gonna add that to the resume of things he's done in his first race. Exactly clears Todd. He's gonna go right after his Rookie of the Year contender Larry Foyt, which seems to be a pretty distant battle for Rookie of the Year honors between the two. And Zachary's gonna go on Larry. He's gonna go after Larry Foyt. There you see Jeff Burton, the 99 back there with Ryan Newman. There's Jason Keller making some moves to the inside of Jan McMurray, who won at Texas. Jason Keller doing pretty good, I must say. Got a couple battles going on between Dale Jr., Mike Skinner, and Tony Raines and Jeremy Mayfield ahead of him. With how Tony Raines has done so far this season, there are talks of him getting a pretty good ride for 2004 next season. He's posted some really good finishes, top 5s, top 10s, top 15s consistently ever since his first race at Vegas. So there is a possibility that maybe we will see Tony Raines in a better car for next season. Who knows? But as we look further up ahead, see Ken Schrader in the 49 making his first race back from missing California due to some family issues. Everything is okay there. You see Robbie Gorn to the 31 and Steve Park. They are really, really close to each other. They're still running inside the top 10, but Robbie Gorn is fading. I think Robbie actually ended up using some of his tires. And look at him. Oh, my gosh. He is so slow on the outside. He loses the position to Robbie. He's going to lose one to Benson in the 10. Benson might just go around Robbie Gorn in the 31. Robbie holds it. Oh, yeah. He's really, really tight. That sucks so badly for Robbie. He's holding up Ricky Rudd and his teammate Kevin Harvick in the 29. But clearly, Robbie Gorn is still trying, but Steve Park's doing a pretty good job up ahead. And then you have 3 Roush cars actually going at it here between rookie teammate Greg Biffle, Kurt Busch, and Matt Kenseth, as this is the battle for 5th. And out of these 3 drivers, only one of them so far has won a race this season. It is Greg Biffle. The other Roush driver, Jeff Burton, is mired in the back of the pack, but he's got 2 wins on the season. But Kurt and Kenseth, they've been consistent enough to be inside the top 10. And Biffle, after California, is close to the top 20. So maybe after today, he could be inside the top 20. Who knows? But further ahead, Jeff Green still maintaining second, and Jeff Gorham just pulling away ever so slightly. Even though Gorham has been pretty upset that he hasn't really been able to win races this season, he has been happy to see his driver Zachary Smithley for his team JG4 Racing get some wins. So Jeff Gorham being able to be happy for his driver is the best thing. But Gorham definitely wants a win. Speaking of his driver, he's going after Jerry Nadeau in the 0-1, and there's Jeff Burton, the 99, that's directly behind Zach. Zach just taking his time, not trying to use up his tires. Some of these drivers have used up their tires a lot. Robbie Gordon is one of those drivers that has used up his tires quite a bit. But as you see, Zachary trying to etch out a little bit ahead of Nadeau in the 0-1. He gets a little bit tight in 3. I don't think they made any contact though, so it seems to be all good on behalf of both drivers. As they enter turn 1, looks like Zachary's going to grab the position off of Nadeau, or Nadeau's actually going to fight back on the outside, but Zachary's accomplishing what he wanted to do, is ahead 3 wide between Newman, Sadler, and Warburton. But we're going to mention that Zachary is accomplishing the goal that he set out to have today, which is to make sure that Ryan Newman never left his sights. And so far, Ryan Newman in the 12th has not left his sight all race long. Newman is kind of stuck behind Andretti, McMurray. He had that 3-wide battle with Ward and Sadler. And in doing so, Zachary in the 80 is just getting closer and closer. So Zachary's going to vie for the bottom here. He's going to try to pass Ryan Newman. Even though these two drivers are mired in the back of the pack, these two drivers are definitely the championship favorites. The sophomore sensation of Ryan Newman and the rookie sensation of Zachary. They are definitely the two drivers to watch out for all season, and it is shown. You see Newman right around the outside of Jamie McMurray, making that outside line work. Zachary kind of peeked up there a little bit. Ryan Newman's going to carry that momentum and get it right around the outside of Andretti. Zachary's going to follow Newman. Newman goes a lane higher than Zach, but Zach keeps it just pinned down close enough to McMurray. But he still gets a good enough run to pass McMurray. And he's going to carry that momentum around the outside of Andretti. He might try to he might get him off of turn number 2. And it looks like he did. He got him. Zachary and Newman are on a charge right now as Newman goes back to the outside of Ward Burton. Gets a nice run off of 4, grabs the position off of Ward. Now does Zach do the same thing? Probably. We'll have to wait and see later on if he does, but some battles going on throughout the field as there you see Robbie Gorn again getting passed by Ken Schrader in the 49. He is going backwards. The polar opposite of what Robbie Gorn needed to have happen, which is for him to go forwards. So there you see his teammate Kevin Harvick fighting Jimmy Johnson for position. And Kevin Harvick, even though he hasn't had some good races so far this season, he has been there with Jeff Green pretty much is at the top 10 or close to the top 10 in points. So Harvick is making his presence known every week. You see Marlin going right around the outside of Steve Park, who is still having a good race and might keep Park in his ride for at least a week. Park needs some good performances. He hasn't had the greatest of performances as of late. He needs a good one, and if tonight can be that night, he can do it. He can 100% do it if he can. But now Marlin's going to try to go after Biffle in the 16, who's had quite a run since winning at Talladega. Especially last time out of California, Biffle had a great time at California. He ended up getting a pretty good finish, a top 10. So Greg Biffle in that 16 car, he's living up to the hype that Jack Roush himself knew that he saw and that Biffle definitely had. He's doing a will of a job right now as he's fending off Sterling Marlin, who is still trying to have a comeback of sorts after his 2002 season was cut short. He's a little bit further ahead. You see Bobby Labonte in the 18, still trailing in third behind Jeff Green in second, and there's Gordon, who's pretty much a straightaway away from Jeff Green. But still maintaining a really good lead in that DuPont Chevy. And one of the things they got to keep an eye out on and got to remember is the pit stops that are going to be coming up here in the next 30 laps. As you see Mark Martin back there in traffic. He didn't even make it to we didn't even cross the start-finish line, and he was already a lap down. He already came to the pits well before it was ready. He got put in the wall on the start, and that's one of the main reasons why he's mired back in traffic. See Johnson going around the outside of Steve Park. Park might have actually used up his tires as well, because Johnson's going around the outside of him, and Benson actually ahead of him got around him as well. Rudd's going to go right around the outside. He's going to hold up Kevin Harvick in the 29. Maybe not for long, though, but Steve Park definitely may have used up his tires. Rudd's still trying to go right around the outside of Steve Park, and it looks like if he gets a good run, he can get him, and it looks like he did, and he got him. Now Harvick's going to try to follow Ricky Rudd. They clear him going into turn 1. And off of turn number 2, Park's still trying to maintain the position, but it just seems like he's going to have to give it up. He just doesn't have the grip. He doesn't have the tires to hold it with Harvick in the 29. Or does he? He's still fighting Harvick. Look at the speed that Harvick can carry into the corner compared to Steve Park on the bottom. He can get a nice run. He can clear him down the back straightaway, but it seems like Park still might be there, but not going into 3, he won't. Harvick gets the spot off of him. Hopefully, maybe Park won't lose any spots. We gotta keep a a leveled head here. Hopefully he won't. And the same goes for Robbie. Robbie's lost a lot of spots as now he's got Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman, and Dale Jarrett directly behind him. And Ryan Newman is actually pulled away from Zach right now. As once again, there are 5 cars separating them, but Newman went all the way to the outside. He's going to lose a spot to Dale Jarrett by doing that. So now there's only 4 cars separating Newman and Zach. And Newman, don't know if that was the wisest decision to do that, but he ended up losing a spot. But Zach back here is kind of stuck behind Elliott Sadler and Mike Skinner. Ooh, I don't know if Skinner or Sadler made any contact. It kind of looked like Skinner went up the track a little bit, made a little bit of contact. So we have further in the back of the pack. There's Jeff Gordon, who is closing in on the back of the pack, which starts with Dave Blaney. It's kind of a flip-flop between Dave Blaney and Mark Martin. But as of right now, it looks like, well, now it's starting with Mark Martin. But Jeff Gordon, who is still maintaining the lead at a really good pace, he doesn't have any competition behind him. He's left his competition in the dust. But Jeff Gordon is looking for his first win of the season. Jeff Green in the AOL Chevy might be looking for his first win. Kenseth is too. Labonte is. And so is Kurt Busch. Labonte is on the outside. Kurt Busch, he's going to roll the bottom. Doesn't get the exit that he wanted, because he's going to still have Labonte to his outside. But as they enter turn 3, ooh, a little bit high in 3 and 4. Not enough, though, because Labonte keeps the fight going. Got a nice run on the outside. Can he clear him going into 1? He can get a little bit further ahead going into 1, but it won't be enough. Yeah, it doesn't look like Labonte's going to be able to get Kurt Busch, but Kurt isn't really able to pass Labonte either. As in 3, actually, speaking of which, Kurt Busch finally fully passes Bobby Labonte for the position. And there you have it. Labonte gets the spot. As we look further up ahead to Jeff Gordon in the 24. Like we said before, Jeff Gordon, even though he hasn't gotten a win, he's happy that his team, JG4 Racing, that he started last year, is actually doing really, really good. And right now, he's leading the championship. He's leading the point standings. Or his team is leading the point standings. And even though Jeff Gordon is 4th in the point standings, he's still happy that his driver is leading the point standings and has got 2 wins on the season. So Jeff Gordon knows he's done something right with that team. To see Jason Keller back there kind of losing some spots, but still just gaining experience. Once again, he only had the 2 laps from qualifying to get used to the track, and that was it. No practice, just 2 laps in qualifying. And right now he's doing a good job. He's reported that he hasn't used up his tires, which is good. The main concern, though, for him is what will he do when his tires do end up having a lot of wear on them. That'll be the main thing as we look further ahead. Speaking of Jeff Gordon's driver, Zachary, he ended up getting around Mike Skinner in the 4. So he's going to go after Jeremy Mayfield in the 19. Skinner, who started pretty well in today's race, he is kind of falling back a little bit. But it's obvious that the tires are starting to kick in for a lot of drivers. As you see Skinner actually going to the outside of Zach. He rolls that outside. What a move by Mike Skinner. Right on the outside of Zachary, but Zach got a better run off of turn 2 than Mike Skinner did. So he's actually going to keep the position. And Zachary's championship competitor, Ryan Newman, there's 2 cars separating the both of them. Zachary wants to stay in close proximity of Ryan Newman, and so far, with there only being 2 cars in between them, that ain't too bad. You see Jeff Gordon in the 24, actually, he's caught the back of the pack, starting now with Mark Martin. Remember when Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon dominated a season 4 years ago? Feel bad for Mark. We all feel bad for Mark. Definitely not the race that Mark was expecting to have. Already a lap down. He's about to go 2 laps down to Jeff Gordon. But Gordon, he's got such a big lead that he can pretty much trail behind Mark Martin for however many laps before Jeff Green can even catch him. But Gordon, he's going to try to find a way around Mark Martin in the 6th. He does want to get around him. He does want to put some drivers in between him and Green. If he can put some slower cars in between them, then he can do that. Or looking around the outside, he's looking for any way to maybe put the 6 car lap down, maybe expecting the 6 to make a mistake. Doesn't look like he's going to make a mistake, but Gordon, he's going to stay on the outside. Maybe that'll work for him. As they come off of turn 4. Gordon does get a nice run, but it does get blocked by Larry Foyt in the 14. Not by much, though, but still. Not carrying as much speed into the corner like he wanted to carry. Down the backstretch, it looks like he will at least get Mark Martin. Larry Foyt goes to the bottom. So he's going to be able now to go after Top O'Dine and change for second between Matt Kenseth and Jeff Green. So now Kenseth, who is very, very hungry for a win this season, he's going to go after Jeff Gordon, but Gordon is so far ahead, but also Gordon's in lap traffic. Kenseth might catch him fast. Or maybe not, because Gordon, he is able to lap cars. He lapped Bodine and Mark Martin. He's going to try to lap Larry Foyt, which if he can get a nice run going into the corner, he can definitely get him, and he gets him well before they even hit the center of 1 and 2. And that's pretty much all Gordon needs to do. Larry Foyt's still trying to fight him. You never know when a caution might come out, because there's no way to get your lap back under caution. You got to pass the leader on pure pace. But Gordon is able to hold it. Keeps Larry Foyt a lap down. Now he's going to go after Kenny. Good old Kenny Wallace in the 23. Gordon has been trying different lines, searching for different ways around different drivers, figuring out where they're defending, where they're telling Gordon to go, and Gordon is going either to the bottom because they're up top, or he's going up top because they're going to go on the bottom, and they're just telling Gordon, go around me. As we're going to go on ahead and take in the sights and sound of the Richmond International Speedway with all the drivers going around the racetrack. Eventually we'll make this a segment. Get a nice little logo for this little special thing. Little new thing to add into it, you know. You can see a lot of the driver. You can see the drivers are definitely searching around, trying to find different ways to pass drivers like Johnson and Benson. A lot of drivers just kind of stuck in the traffic that they're in. So we head back to Jeff Gordon. He lapped Jason Keller and Kenny Wallace. Because now he's going to go after Dave Blaney, who we thought was going to be the first one that he was actually going to lap, but he didn't. But you see now Matt Kenseth has actually closed the gap on Gordon because of the lap traffic that Gordon has found himself in. So Jeff Gordon, the 24, even though he's in lap traffic, he is going to be losing time to Kenseth in the 17. But it seems like Jeff Gordon is actually taking some notes from his own driver. He's actually able to get around these guys with ease. As of right now, it ain't going too great, but he's still doing pretty good. We look up to Jeff Gordon's driver, Zachary. He's actually passed a couple cars to get Ryan Newman in his mirrors, or in his front windshield, to keep an eye on him, but also Robbie Gordon of the 31 still struggling on those tires, still losing grip, just has no pace so far. He fell outside the top 10, the top 15, the top 20, now the top 25. He is trying to hold on to that car, but he is wearing out his tires way too much. He's going to lose yet another spot to Ryan Newman in the Altel Dodge. See Tony and Terry up ahead going at it. Terry's had some good finishes as of late. This one might be a little bit different because it's not going too well for Terry, but you never know in the coming weeks. Tony's just looking for a good result again. And Tony right now just trying to fend off 5 of Terry, just trying to maybe find a way around him, but Ryan Newman's actually getting to the middle of this fight, so Newman might actually find his way around both of these drivers, whether they want him to or not. He's going to start off with Tony. He's going to go right around the outside of Tony. Don't really know how that fight ended, but hope maybe Newman actually ended up getting around him. Who knows? Further ahead, you see Steve Park entering 1 behind Gray Biffle in the 16. Steve Park is maintaining a really good pace. He's actually not falling as far back as Robbie Gordon, the 31, did. So as of right now, Robbie Gordon is not doing as well, but also Steve Park, he is ahead of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Michael Waltrip, speaking of Dale Jr., he's right behind Tony Raines in the 74. But he is ahead of his teammates, which is nice. And is this Johnny Benson pitting? This is Benson's on pit road, as is Elliott Labonte, and completely forgot what the other driver was. We just saw him. Kurt Busch, I think. Yeah, it was Kurt Busch. So now that the pit window is open, now we're going to see who's going to come in. Jeff Burton looks like he came down pit road. Yeah, Burton came down. Kenseth's on pit road. Jeff Green stayed out. There's Elliott. There's Labonte. So now that the pit window is open, these drivers are going to have to figure out how to get to the bottom without getting into anybody and get on the pit road. You saw Mikey in the 15 on pit road. And a little bit of contact between Andretti and Kenny Wallace in the 43 and 23. Looks like they caught the wall. Andretti may have thought he was clear of Kenny, but they ended up catching the wall together. Tempers might be flaring already, but who knows? Mark Martin's just going to follow Andretti on through. Mark Martin has got nothing to gain, but also nothing really to lose, besides just falling down another lap. Which he's only 1 lap down right now, but if he gets passed by Gorn again, he'll be 2 down. You see Waltrip coming out of the pits. Some of these drivers have made their pit stops. They pitted really early, but at the same time, like we said at the top of the show, if you could savor your tires, you might be able to make it to the field window. As we actually just saw Jay McMurray in the 42 on pit road. Back there was Ricky Craven in the 32. The drivers are slowly making their way onto pit road. The question is, when will Gordon in the 24 make his way onto pit road? He is on the bottom. Is he going to come in this time, or is he going to stay out? Gordon's going to stay out. Gordon, actually, I think he saved his tires enough to where he doesn't even need to worry about anything. But there you see Kenseth. There's Kurt Busch. There's Johnson, Labonte, Steve Park. And all these drivers, wow, look at Newman. 3 wide between Bill Elliott and Joe Nemechek. Holy cow. See Zachary back there. Sadler's coming onto pit road. Gordon still stays out. Andretti back there in the 43 just came down pit road. There are a lot of drivers that have come down pit road, and so far with Matt Kenseth being in 2nd place, there's you see Robbie Gordon coming out of the pits. But because Matt Kenseth was net P2 before pit cycles, he will actually come out probably as the leader, depending on how much longer Gordon stays out. As you see Casey Mears in the 41 coming into the pits. Some other drivers back behind or on pit road as well. Can't quite tell who they are. You see Sadler leaving the pits in the 38. I think Gordon's main problem is going to be getting down to pit lane, because right now he keeps getting shuffled to the outside, which is kind of preventing Jeff from getting to the bottom anyways. But also, I think Gordon just thinks he can savor his tires, which he might be able to do what his driver Zachary did back in Martinsville. Zachary, as a matter of fact, he didn't have to pit for a long time until a late race caution came out, after Zachary had actually put everybody a lap down. And so far, since not every driver has pitted, Gordon necessarily doesn't have everybody 1 lap down. So if a caution comes out and if Gordon pits, it might not work, but you never know. You see Kenseth in the 17 making his way through the field, as is Kurt Busch, Jeff Green, Ryan Newman's on pit road. See all the other drivers going through. There you see Marlin, Jarrett, Stewart, Zachary, and Skinner stay out. A lot of drivers staying out. Terry Labonte's also in. So there you see Gordon, the 24. Gordon, even though he was pretty fast, he may have actually been saving his tires quite a bit, so he might not need to pit. As you see Mark Martin up ahead is going to come into the pits. Gordon's got to watch out for that. Mark gets out of the way nicely. Mayfield in the 19. Was that Mayfield? That is Mayfield. He did come down pit road. Gordon might be wanting to come down pit road at some point. We just don't know when. You see Terry's coming out of the pits. Gordon does have quite a bit of drivers left, but they are also on fresher tires. There are also some drivers that he hasn't been able to lap. So that's going to definitely play a factor into Gordon's ability to win today. He still didn't come down pit road that time. Looked like Ken Schrader in the 49 was on pit road. Mark and Mayfield are coming out of the pits. Is Gordon looking to come into the pits this time, or is he going to stay out for another lap? He's going to stay out for another lap, it looks like. So Jeff Gordon stays out for another lap. And man, oh man, this is going to get interesting because there's Matt Kenseth at the 17. He's very close to Gordon. Gordon might be thinking because he's going to pit later, he's actually going to get fresher tires and he might be able to run back down Matt Kenseth to the 17 because Kenseth's going to be the leader coming out of all of this. But there you see Gordon, he's actually up on the outside. Seems like he got caught off guard by Ken Schrader coming back on the track that he actually ended up missing his corner. Now Gordon's going to be stuck up on the outside for how long, though? We may never know. But he is going to let Sadler on through. He let McMurray on through. Never mind, they make contact, Sadler and Gordon. There's Robbie in the 31. Spencer's on pit road. Then we've actually heard that Gordon's going to be pitting either at the end of this lap or the end of next lap. We're going to find out depending on how Gordon... Oh, contact between McMurray and Sadler. Sadler catches the wall, but they keep on going, and Jeff Gordon is on pit road. And like we were saying earlier, it seems like Gordon's driver, Zachary's also going to come into the pits with Skinner in the 4, possibly. So we look a little bit further back. There you see Newman. There's that big pack of cars. There's Skinner in the 4. Oh, Zach, he's trying to get a whoa down. Oh, he almost missed pit road, but Zachary gets in to his pit. It gets into the pits. He makes it to his pit stall. Good job on his part. There you see Kenseth in the 17. He's going to pass Jeff Gordon, and Matt Kenseth is going to take the lead here at Richmond. See, Kenny's on pit road. There's Labonte. There's Gordon coming out of the pits. So now with Kenseth leading, Kurt Busch runs in 2nd. Jeff Green runs in 3rd. Bobby Labonte in 4th. And Jeff Gordon in 5th. But here's the kicker. Jeff Gordon has fresher tires. He's got way fresher tires in the 4 ahead of him and pretty much the entire field. So Matt Kenseth, Kurt Busch, and Jeff Green, and Bobby Labonte, they're going to have to watch out. As you see Ward Burton coming out of the pits, he actually checked up Kurt Busch in the 97. Green trying to go right around the outside of Spencer. Trying to maybe get closer to Kurt Busch, but there's Jeff Gordon. He's actually put heat into his tires, so maybe, just maybe, Gordon can actually go run these drivers down. He's got to start with Labonte first, but look at Jeff Green in the 30. He's up on the outside. He goes a little bit higher. Yeah, he's really high in 3 and 4, excuse me. Off of turn number 4, though, Kurt Busch keeps it, but his rival Spencer's behind him. Spencer, ooh, I thought it looks like Kurt chopped the nose off of Spencer. The fact that Spencer didn't give him the bumper is a little bit crazy, a little bit shocking. You see, Kenseth, he is lapping drivers. He's now put Ricky Craven in the 32 a lap down. So there are drivers separating Kenseth from his teammate Kurt Busch, which right now it's 5. But Kurt's also got a mirror full of AOL blue and yellow and Jeff Green, and also of baby blue and white in JB Spencer. And Jeff Gordon actually passed Bobby Labonte, and going into 3, he's fighting Mike Skinner. So Gordon is actually making up spots. So we head a little bit further back. There's Zachary in the 80. He lost so many spots. He's 42nd right now. Zachary is very, very frustrated in that race car. And he is driving like he's frustrated. He's going to try to get as many spots as he can towards the end of this race. As we look further ahead, Gordon has actually ran down Jeff Green in the 30. And in turn, he's actually been able to run down Kurt Busch in the 97. Gordon stuck behind Jason Keller and Mark Martin. As you see Jeff Green ahead, going right around the outside of Kurt Busch, trying to take 2nd place away from him. Off of 2, can he get the run? And he gets it, and he gets him in 3. So now Jeff Green gets 2nd place. Here comes Gordon right around the outside of Kurt Busch to grab 3rd. And as they enter turn 1, there goes Gordon, but he's going to carry that momentum towards Jeff Green. He carries it, but he's going to get stuck behind Skinner in the 4. As they head down the back, though, Gordon is going to be able to pass Jeff Green cleanly, and now Gordon's in 2nd as they head to 35 laps to go with Matt Kenseth still out front. Gordon's fresher tires is probably what's going to make Kenseth a little worried, because Kenseth's tires are not as good as Gordon's. They're not as fresh as Gordon's. See all the drivers separating Kenseth and Gordon. which right now it is 5 drivers. Kenseth's just trying to maintain his spot, maintain the position. Gordon right now, he's going to give Top O'Dine, but he's still following behind Skinner in the 4. Looks like he's going to be able to get him to the outside. It's a beautiful run off the outside. Can he get him into 3? He'll have him on the outside. He'll be able to stay on the outside of him going into 3. As they come off of turn number 4, there goes Gordon right past Skinner. So now there's 4 cars separating Gordon and Kenseth. He's got to go through Andretti, Spencer, Craven, and Blaney to get to Kenseth in the 17, who is still behind Kyle Petty. Gordon's on the inside of Andretti. He's going to get him. 4 become 3. Gordon jumps to the outside of Spencer. Oh, Skinner and Andretti got a little bit close coming out of turn 4. Now the bad happened, but there goes Gordon right around the outside of Spencer in the 7. Spencer gives him all the room on the outside to make that pass happen. As they head down the back, Gordon's going to carry the momentum, and he's going to pass Craven as well. So now Blaney's just in between Kenseth and Gordon. Gordon's able to utilize that outside line super nicely. As they head down the front stretch and into 1, Gordon is going to almost clear Blaney. If he gets a good run off, if he gets a good exit, he might clear him on the back straightaway, and he does. Now it's on. Gordon going to try the outside on Matt Kenseth. Trying to take the spot away. 30 laps to go. Kenseth's he's gonna try to put the block on Gordon, try to stop his runs, but he can't stop this run. Oh, he did. Kenseth actually stopped the run from Gordon right there. Man, Gordon is close to Kenseth. But Kenseth messed up in 3. He messed up, and Gordon's gonna take it to the outside. Gordon is back out front of Richmond. Directly behind Kyle Petty in the 45. Petty gets a little bit closer to Gordon. Gordon may not take too kindly to that, but Gordon's going to be able to clear Petty in the 45. And Gordon is back out front, leading here at Richmond. Sometimes putting on the fresher tires just might simply mean you can get your position back. You can get your lead back. As there was a 3-way battle going on between Andretti, Craven, and Green, and Jeff Green just went 3 wide around both drivers and took the spot. Kurt Busch right now is dealing with Kenny Wallace. There's Bobby Labonte in P5 with Zachary Smithley in the 80, trailing behind him. With Zachary being in 42nd, his competition, or the drivers that he can pass, are directly ahead of Bobby Labonte, but Zachary is trying to manage his tires, trying to keep the pace steady, try not to force the issue. If he finds the opportunity to pass somebody, he's going to take it, and right now it looks like he might. Oh, maybe not. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it. We've hit triple digits again. But out of turn 4, Zachary's going to be able to carry his momentum down the front straightaway. He might be able to clear Labonte in the 18. He wraps that bottom so nicely. Oh, man, he gets really close to Labonte coming off of turn 2. But he cleared him. Holy cow. Now Zachary's going to go after Ward Burton to the 22. He's going to try to gain some spots. Zachary's actually going to pass the driver for a position. This is for 41st. Zachary has not had the greatest race, and speaking of Ryan Newman, he's inside the top 20. Well, Zachary's back here in 42nd, but there's a lot of cars that he's got to pass. He wants to somehow mitigate the damages of today. Zachary back there got a little close to Ward Burton. See Jason Keller in the 0. He's still technically learning as he goes. But man, is he super slow on the front stretch. Oh, little contact between Zachary and Keller. Zachary might not take too kindly to Jason Keller. Keller was super slow, and he got in the way of Zachary. More contact made, and sideways was Keller, and he saved it. What a save by Keller. Zachary makes more contact with Jason Keller. He finally gets to the inside. He's actually going to pass him for the position. And there goes Zach right around him for 41st. Maybe not, actually. Zachary is frustrated in that car. Under the hood, he is frustrated, but he passes Keller, maintains the momentum going forward to get to the inside of Ward Burton. He mainly wanted Ward Burton at first, but with Jason Keller kind of checking him up a little bit, that's what kind of sparked Zachary to get angry. He got even more frustrated. Kurt Busch maintaining his 4th position. Green's still in third, but Kenseth's in this gaggle of cars, so actually Jeff Green's kind of catching Kenseth. Kenseth's going to try to take a 3 wide with Petty and Skinner. It don't look like it, but there's Gordon maintaining his lead with 21 laps to go. He's continuing to lap cars as he continues. Back there, you actually see Robbie Gordon in the 31, but also Robbie's teammate Jeff Green in the 30s directly behind him. So a lot of things can happen here. A lot of things can change. 20 to go. Jeff Gordon has definitely been the car to beat tonight. He's put it on. He's pretty much shown it all night. And he's continuing to show up by lapping a lot of drivers, but also those fresh tires and pitting a lot later is it what probably saved Gordon's race, and actually a strategy went Gordon's way. A little bit further back to second place to Jeff Green and Matt Kenseth. Kenseth is actually he's actually slow. I think Kenseth hurt his tires again. See Jeff Green in the 30s actually running the lane a little bit higher than Kenseth. Trying to get some forward momentum. See Mike Skinner in the 40s actually going to take the battle to Jeff Green. Green doesn't want this because he wants to be able to get to Matt Kenseth, but it might not matter what Green wants because Skinner's going to do what Skinner's going to want to do. And that is going to be fighting the 30 of Jeff Green. See Robbie Gordon back there in the 31, not had a good race today. His teammate Jeff Green, on the other hand, he's had a really good race, and so has Kevin Harvick. A little bit further back to fourth place, Kurt Busch, who's got Zachary right behind him. All these positions Zachary can actually gain. Nadeau, Spencer, Craven, Bodine, Robbie Gordon, and Dave Blaney are actually all for position. Ooh, Zachary may have looked to get to the inside a little bit, maybe seeing if he can upset Jerry Nadeau to maybe force him up the track. It just didn't work. But man, is Robbie Gordon, he's holding him up, and Zachary's just going to make it 3 wide. He's going to make his own line. Oh, they get him and Nadeau got really close. Going into turn 1. Shockingly, though, that did not end poorly or badly. I'm shocked. But he got Nadeau. He's going to go right on the outside of Spencer. He's going to continue that momentum. He's going to be 3 wide. He's in a Roush Racing sandwich with Kurt on the bottom, Martin on the outside. Both of these drivers are not for position, but Zachary's still going to go for it because he knows Craven in the 32s for position. He knows Robbie Gordon in the 31s for position. He's still 3 wide as they head down the back straightaway. He gets Robbie Gordon. Ricky Craven, excuse me. Robbie Gordon is still ahead of him. What in the what? Holy cow from Zach. Even though Zach isn't really fighting for the win or anything, he's still going for it like his life depends on it. He's to the inside of Mark Barney. He's trying to get to Robbie Gordon. He wants to pass Robbie Gordon. With Robbie not having a... Oh, Zach gets high in the corner. It looks like Robbie and Zach made contact. We were just going to mention that since Robbie's not had a really good race, Zachary just wants to get around him just so he's not stuck behind him. And right there just showed just how badly Zachary wants to get around Robbie Gordon. As we look further ahead, Matt Kenseth in the 17 is going to look to finally get around Kyle Petty in the 45, which he does. But he is slowly running out of time as with 12 laps to go. Gordon still has the lead, but there is now 5 cars actually, in between Gordon and Kenseth. Actually, no, it was 6. I was right the first time. Jeff Gordon just continuing his dominant display here at Richmond. May not be leading every single lap and lapping every single driver like he wanted to do today, like he thought he could do today, like his driver Zachary did back at Martinsville, but he has put on a dominant showing today. See Kenseth's on the outside of Casey Mears. Jeff Green in the 30 is kind of lurking back there, maybe trying to find a way to get a bit of a run on Kyle Petty, try to maybe get near him. Casey Mears in the 41 just keeping Matt Kenseth behind him. Or trying to. Maybe keeping him to his outside more than trying to keep him behind him. But Casey Mears, he is doing a really good job of doing that. I'll tell you that right now. But Kenseth is getting a little bit frustrated, but now Ken Schrader's in front of him. You gotta feel for Matt Kenseth. He has not won a race so far this season. He has come close so many times and still has not gotten the job done. He almost won Rockingham. Las Vegas, and even Atlanta. So out of the first 4 races of the season, he almost won those races. Atlanta, though, he made a pretty bad, his team made a pretty bad pit call, and unfortunately, that's what ended up costing him the win. And here today, Gordon just ran him down with faster tires. And speaking of Gordon, he's going to put Burton a lap down. He's going to come to the start-finish line. He's going to have 8 laps to go. And Jeff Gordon can pretty much just put it in cruise control and just cruise to victory for these final 8 laps. Because Gordon doesn't even have to worry. He's now got 7 cars in between him and Matt Kenseth. Well, he's got 6. He's got around Casey Mears, because Ken's got around Casey Mears. He's actually going to try to get around Ken Schrader now. And he gets a nice run, but it won't be enough to really get Schrader on the straightaway, on the front straightaway. So he's going to have to maybe wait a little bit. But Jeff Gordon, the 4-time Winston Cup Series champion. At the end of the 2002 season, or at the end of his championship winning season in 2001, Jeff Gordon decided that he would make a new race team. That race team being JG24 Racing. He put a driver named Zachary Smithley, a driver that nobody had ever heard of, that only raced around his local racetrack area. But he put him in his Busch Series car. And Zachary did so well. And even though he didn't win the championship but came P3, Jeff Gordon decided that he's going to put Zachary Smithley in a Cup car and put him and bring the entire JG4 Racing team to the Cup Series. He did exactly that. And out of the first 10 races of the season, Jeff Gordon has seen his team explode in success. With 2 wins this season and 2 poles, Jeff Gordon has never been more happier. And even though Jeff Gordon over at Hendrick hasn't won a race, he is still super proud of what he's been able to accomplish over at his own team. Well, with the alliance from JG4 Racing and Hendrick Motorsports, that alliance is what's kept Jeff Gordon continue his confidence for these races that he hasn't been able to win, even though he thinks that he can win them. One of those races being Talladega. He almost won that race after all the drivers behind him had no idea that Jeff Gordon had went, and Jeff Gordon almost won the race because of that. But in the end, Jeff Gordon did not get the job done at Talladega, and Jeff Gordon was quoted as saying that he was actually proud that he didn't do that, because he would have felt pretty bad about winning at Talladega in that fashion. But here today at Richmond, Jeff Gordon, he didn't need to jump to start to get an edge over the drivers. All he needed to do was not only just pass Bobby Labonte on pure speed, but do it to Matt Kenseth after fitting on 4 fresh Goodyears and coming back to the front and getting the lead. And now on the white flag lap, we look back to Matt Kenseth. You see Jeff Green in 3rd. There you see Zachary in the 80, who's made something out of today. And Matt Kenseth is so far back that he's not going to be able to catch Gordon, but that doesn't matter. Off of turn number 4, the Pontiac Excitement 400 goes to Jeff Gordon. He finally gets that first win of the 2003 season. What a win and what a job from Jeff Gordon and the entire DuPont 24 team. Jeff Gordon has finally won a race this season after coming so close so many times and watching his own driver and his own teammate win. But now Jeff Gordon is a race winner once again. And on a really good strategy too. He knew that pitting later would definitely give him an edge with the tires, and he took that advantage and ran with it. And that's all he really needed to do to get the job done. So good job to Jeff Gordon on the win, because you really don't see that often. But go ahead and take a look at the finishing results of today. Jeff Gordon gets the job done, winning for the first time this season, with Matt Kenseth in 2nd, Jeff Green 3rd, Kurt Busch 4th, Dale Earnhardt Jr. 5th, Jimmy Johnson 6th, Bobby Labonte 7th, Kevin Harvick 8th, Billy Elliott 9th, and Turner Lamar 10th. Ricky Rudd in 11th, Tony Raines in 12th, Tony Stewart 13th, Ryan Newman 14th, Biffle 15th, Rusty Wallace in 16th, Dale Jarrett in 17th, Johnny Benson 18th, Steve Park 19th, and Michael Waltrip in 20th. Nemechek 21st, Burton 22nd, McMurray 23rd, Sadler 24th, Labonte 25th, Schrader 26th, Skinner 27th, Petty 28th, Marlin 29th, no, Mayfield 29th, and it was Mears in 40th. And then Bodine, Zachary, Blaney, Wallace, Nadeau, Gordon, Andretti, Burton, Foyt, and Spencer. are the 31st through 40th, and then you got Jason Keller 41st, Ricky Kramer 42nd, and Mark Martin in 43rd. So, very, very interesting finishing results for a lot of drivers, especially for Zachary, because of his 32nd place finish. He doesn't maintain the points lead, as now it's gone back to Ryan Newman, but by only 9 points. So Ryan Newman gets back his championship lead by now 9 points ahead of Zachary in 2nd. Rudd in 3rd, Gordon in 4th, Jimmy Johnson in 5th, Bill Elliott 6th, Matt Kenseth in 7th, Kurt Busch in 8th, Michael Waltrip in 9th, and look at that, Jeff Green, top 10. Gray Biffle down there in 19th has cracked the top 20, as has Bobby Labonte in the 18. Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Stewart continuing having good races, as has J.M. McMurray. Jeff Burton has fallen outside the top 10, but he could definitely get back in there quite fast. And then the 2 drivers that we were going to talk about today, Steve Park and Robbie Gordon. 30th in the points for Park, 39th in the points for Robbie Gordon. Not good for both. We're going to have to see what tomorrow brings. And if you can see on the right-hand side with Jack Sprague, his number's just blocked out. And Jason Keller, who is 53rd, has his number. So that's just kind of the way of being, hey, Sprague is out, but Jason Keller is the one that got the points in that car. So the next race will be the Coca-Cola 600, and we're going to try to do the Winston as well. So $1 million is going to be on the line in the Winston. And then shortly after that, we're going to go to the Coca-Cola 600, and we're going to see who can get the job done over there. But we're going to have the Winston. The Winston Open will be the first one to take place. And then the Winston itself. We're gonna see in the 3 segments who is gonna be able to come out on top and be the survivor of the fastest, because that's pretty much what it's gonna be. It's gonna be the Winston survival of the fastest. We're gonna see who survives being the fastest. We're gonna see who survives that race and who is the fastest as well. That was a difficult sentence to get out. But this will be the 2003 format. So after segments 1 and 2, certain drivers will be eliminated and other drivers won't be. So that's essentially what's going to happen. But we're going to have to wait till we get to the Winston for all the rules to be shown to everybody. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy it, leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for some more. We're going to see in the next coming days how everything kind of goes. We'll get an update on Jack Sprague as well in the coming days. And there's a possibility there's going to be some driver changes. Possibly. Who knows? But thank you all so much. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day, everyone. I love y'all, and goodbye.